Good morning children. Today we are going to discuss about Mentalist's periodic table. We all know that there are 118 elements are present in the periodic table. Out of these 118 elements, 94 elements are naturally occurring elements, whereas the remaining 24 elements are synthesized in the laboratory. These are artificial elements, that is, it is synthesized in the laboratory. Mentalist was a famous Russian chemist and inventor. He is best known for his formulating his periodic table, right? According to Mentalist, the periodic function of the periodic table, according to Mentalist, the physical properties as well as chemical properties of the periodic table are the periodic functions of their atomic mass or atomic weight. Okay. After the rejection of Newton's octave law, Mendel's periodic table came into picture. So, Mendel's periodic table is a table which shows the physical as well as chemical properties of the periodic functions of the atomic numbers. Okay, all the elements are arranged based on their properties of different properties of the elements are arranged based on their atomic mass or atomic weight, right? This is the modified version of Mendel's periodic table. We can call this periodic table as modern periodic table, right? So the modern periodic law states that the physical and chemical properties of the elements are the periodic functions of their atomic number. So Mendel's periodic table also states the same thing only. The physical and chemical properties of the elements are the periodic functions of their atomic mass. Okay. Now in modern periodic table we can call it as atomic number. That's the difference. The remaining things are the same only. Right. So the modern periodic table is nothing but a tabular arrangement of elements. Okay. All the elements are arranged in a tabular form. So the modern periodic table is a tabular arrangement of elements. Okay. Present in rows and columns, highlighting the properties of the 180 elements, right? So the modern periodic table is nothing but a tabular arrangement of elements in rows and columns. It shows the general properties of the elements. This is the modern periodic table, right? Good. The modern periodic table consists of 7 periods and 18 groups. Okay. Then what are called periods? Periods are nothing but the horizontal rows are called periods. So this is the modern periodic table. It is nothing but a tabular arrangement of elements arranged based on their increasing order of their atomic number, right? So this table consists of periods and groups. Periods means the horizontal rows are called periods. These are the horizontal rows. Okay, the horizontal rows are called periods, and there are 7 periods in the periodic table. This is the first period, second period, third period, fourth period, fifth one, sixth, seventh. So the horizontal rows are called periods, and there are 7 periods in the periodic table. What do you mean by groups? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? So there are 18 groups in the periodic table. What are called periods? What are called groups? Periods means the horizontal rows are called periods. There are 7 periods in the periodic table. And the vertical columns starting from top to bottom are called groups. There are 18 groups in the periodic table, right? Now let us see about the features of periods. If you take the first period, this is the first period. First period is the shortest period. Why? Because only 2 elements are arranged in the first period, right? What are the 2 elements? First one is the hydrogen element and second is the helium element, right? In the first period, only 2 elements are present. This first period is the shortest period because only 2 elements are arranged. What are the 2 elements? Hydrogen and helium, right? And second period consists of 8 elements, right? Second period is also a short period only. Why? Because it contains 8 elements starting from lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. This is the second period starting from lithium to neon. Okay, so this is a short period because it contains 8 elements. Next we can move to the third period. Third period also contains 8 elements. Okay, third period also contains 8 elements. This is also a short period because only 8 elements are present starting from sodium, right? This is sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon. Okay, chlorine, argon. So 8 elements are present in the third period starting from sodium to argon, right? Next, fourth period consists of 18 elements. This is a long period. Why? Because this period contains 18 elements starting from potassium to krypton, right? Next, fifth period also contains, this is also a long period because it contains 18 elements starting from rubidium to xenon, right? Next, sixth period contains, this is the longest period. Why? Because 32 elements are accommodated in this sixth period starting from cesium to radon, right? Starting from cesium to radon. And the last period also contains 32 elements. This is also the longest period because it starts from francium to magnesium. Okay, so this is the last period and it contains 32 elements. This is one of the longest period, right? So 4 elements have been included recently by IUPAC. IUPAC means International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, right? So these are very important in the periodic table. So periodic table consists of periods and groups. There are 7 periods in the periodic table and the horizontal rows are called periods and vertical columns starting from top to bottom are called groups. 18 groups present in the periodic table and each and every group you have to know. First group starts from this to this. Okay, what are the elements are present in the first group? These things you have to remember, right children? Okay, next we can move to the characteristics of Mentalist's periodic table. Characteristics of Mentalist's periodic table. So first one, elements are arranged in vertical columns called group. Just now I told you, isn't it? All the elements are arranged in vertical column. That property is called groups, whereas the horizontal rows are called periods. These are the horizontal rows. So horizontal rows are called period, whereas elements are arranged in vertical columns are called group. This is one of the characteristics of modern periodic table. Next one, there are 8 Mentalist periodic table. Next one is there are 8 groups indicated by the Roman numerals starting from 1 to 8. Where are the 8 groups? This is the first Roman numeral. Second one, 3, and the elements present in the left hand side. These elements are present in the left hand side, isn't it? So these elements are segregated in group A, whereas elements present on the right hand side are segregated in subgroup B. These are the right hand side, this is subgroup B elements present this side, and the left hand side subgroup A elements were accommodated, right? And next is periods. Okay, in order to place more elements, the first half of the elements is placed in the upper left corner. This side upper left corner, first half of the elements are being occupied, and the remaining second half occupy the lower right corners. Okay, so the first half of the elements is placed in the upper left corner, and second half occupy the lower right corners. So this is also the characteristic feature of Mendel's periodic table. First of all, we should know about the elements are arranged into periods and groups. What are called periods? What are called groups? How many periods are present in the periodic table? How many groups are present in the periodic table? And there are 8 groups indicated by Roman numeral 1 to 8. Right? Next, elements belonging to first 7 group divided into subgroup A and B, and elements present in the left hand side corner are segregated into subgroup A, whereas right hand side corner are accommodated. All the subgroup B elements are arranged, accommodated in the right hand side in the periodic table, right? So these are the characteristics. Next, we can see about the achievements of Mendel's periodic table. One of the achievement is telluric helix. Telluric helix, it was nothing but the first graphical representation of the system of periodic elements. This is called the telluric helix. Okay, a 3-dimensional periodic table is called the telluric helix. It is nothing but the first graphical representation of the system of elements. This is one of the achievement of Mendel's periodic table. Right, children? Good. Now we can see about the Mendel's periodic law. Mendel's periodic law states the physical and chemical properties of the elements or the periodic functions of their atomic mass and atomic weight. This is Mendel's periodic law. Okay. Next, we can move to characteristics of Mendel's periodic table. What are the properties of Mendel's periodic table? The first one, Mendel's periodic table is based on atomic weight. Okay, Mendel's periodic table are based on atomic weight. Next, in the periodic table in Mendel's time, 63 elements were only known. Okay, 63 elements were only known, but at that time, noble gases were not discovered. Okay, noble gases were not discovered at that time. Whose time? During Mendel's time, noble gases like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. So these gases are not discovered. And Mendeleev was the first scientist, and he arranged all the elements in a systematic manner. Okay, systematic manner means what? He arranged. Mendeleev arranged all the elements in periods as well as in groups. Already you know what are called periods, what are called groups, isn't it? So Mendeleev was the only scientist. He arranged all the elements in a systematic manner. It is very helpful for us to learn about all the elements because of the systematic manner. Because all the elements are arranged in a proper way based on their increasing order of the atomic number. Okay, that is in horizontal rows and in vertical columns. Mendeleev arranged all the elements in horizontal rows as well as in vertical columns. So the what are called periods? Horizontal rows And also based on the common characteristics of each elements, they can be segregated into various families. Okay. For example, if you take the first group elements are called alkali metals. Alkali metals means these elements are somewhat reactive in nature, right? And second group elements are called alkaline earth metals. Here both alkali metal elements and alkaline earth metal elements both are highly reactive in nature, right? Next, group 3 to 12, these are called transitional elements. Transition elements means here all the elements they have incomplete valence shell in their atom. Okay, so that's what we are calling transition elements. Transition elements, what are called inner transition elements, what are called normal elements. These things you will learn in detail in the next coming classes, right? Next, group 3 to 12 we have discussed. Next, group 13 elements are called boron family. First is alkaline family, second alkaline elements, second, first one is the group 1 is called the alkali metals, group 2 is alkaline earth metals, group 3 to 12 are called transition metals, whereas group 13 are called boron family, because boron is the head of that family. That is why we are calling group 13 is called boron family. And group 14 elements are called carbon family. Why? Because carbon is present at the top. So that carbon is the head of the family, right? Next, group 15 elements are called nitrogen family, because nitrogen is present at the first element in that family. Next, group 16 elements are called oxygen family, or otherwise chalcogen family, right? Oxygen family is nothing but chalcogen means, this word chalcogen is derived from the Greek word. The meaning for that chalcogen is ore producer, right? Next one is group 17 elements. Up to group 16 we have discussed. Group 16 is oxygen family or chalcogen family, and group 17 elements are called halogens. Okay, halogens means it will produce, these elements will produce salt. For example, chlorine, bromine, iodine, these elements when it react with other elements it produces salt. And the last group is called the noble gas elements. Okay, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. So these are called noble gas elements. Based on the common characteristics of elements, based on the common characteristic feature, these elements are segregated into various families. That also you have to remember. The periodic table is very important. Okay, right. So next we can go to group 7 elements. Group 7 elements can be segregated into subgroup A and B. Okay, group 7 is divided into A and B subgroups. So A group elements are called normal elements. Okay, A group elements are called normal elements. For example, fluorine, chlorine, bromine. What is meant by normal element? Why particularly we are saying these elements are normal elements? Elements which do not produce any harmful radiations are called normal elements. Okay, elements which do not produce harmful radiations are called normal elements. For example, fluorine, chlorine, bromine. These elements do not produce any harmful radiations. That is why we are calling it as a normal element. Next one, transition elements. I told you transition elements means these elements they have incomplete valence shell in their configuration. So we are calling it as transition elements or transition metals. For example, manganese, cobalt, silver. These are some of the transition metals, right? Next, 8 group elements consist of 9 elements in 3 rows. 8 group elements consist of 9 elements and they can be segregated into 3 rows, right? And these are called transitional metal group elements. They are called transitional metal group elements, right? Okay. So far we have discussed about what is meant by what are called periodic table. Periodic table is nothing but a